Life often presents us with mirrors that reflect who we truly are, and sometimes those reflections show us things we'd rather not see. Weaknesses, fears, inadequacies, and while many stories talk about becoming stronger, few capture the raw and painful process of transformation quite like solo leveling does. It's not about gaining power, it's about the psychological warfare that comes with facing your own powerlessness. So while I was watching season 2 of Solo Leveling, I noticed that, wow, JinWoo is actually getting a lot stronger, and I totally forgot about when he was weak. So I thought about the weakest person I know, and I imagined somebody even weaker than that. And I want to remind you that's where we find Sung Jin-Woo, the world's weakest E-rank hunter. In a world where hunters are revered as humanity's protectors, JinWoo was barely surviving. He was taking on the most dangerous low-level dungeons just to pay his mother's medical bills so she would stay alive. So he had a goal, and each day to Sung Jin-Woo was a reminder of his own inadequacy. Each mission a dance with death, and each pitying glance from other hunters another crack in his already fragile self-image. When you see him in season 2, that guy is gone. And here's the thing about hitting rock bottom. You either let it break you or you use it as a foundation to rebuild yourself. For Jin-Woo, this moment came in the double dungeon incident that should have ended his life. He was lying there bleeding out in a cold dungeon, basically forced to confront a truth he'd been running from. He wasn't just weak because of the circumstances, he was weak because he'd accepted being weak. But Jin-Woo got a second chance in life. The system's appearance wasn't just a power upgrade, it was a mirror showing Jin-Woo who he could become if he was willing to put in the work. Many people look at Jin-Woo's transformation and see the only physical changes, the heightened strength, shadow army, the presence, but what makes his journey so compelling in the story is how it parallels our own struggles with change. Think about it, when Jin-Woo first starts his daily training routines, he's not building physical strength, he's building something far more important. That is discipline. Because he didn't even want to do it sometimes, and then he would be pushed by the system, and he could legitimately die in that realm. There's this quote I like, and it's, you live two lives. The first one starts when you're born, the second one when you realize you only have one. Therefore, the system is reminding Jin-Woo, hey, you gotta step it up, buddy. I gave you a second chance. But every push-up, every dungeon clear, every skill point earned wasn't just about getting stronger. It was about proving to himself that he could be more than what the world labeled him as. The system didn't make him great. It simply gave him the opportunity to make himself great. What I'm trying to get at is that Sung Jin-Woo was a nobody. Everybody knew he was the world's weakest hunter, but nobody knew that he had potential. And that's what the system enables him to do. Because remember, in middle school, all of us were labeled by the teachers, by anybody. Oh, he is a kid that does this. These are his capabilities. These are his grades. You've all been labeled. The thing is that these labels make you stuck. Because if somebody cuts down your potential and kills your idea, you're not going to be able to get anything done. Therefore, the system would help you. And that system can be a goal. But it's an urgent goal. It's not a simple goal like, I don't know, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I might lose weight, whatever. It's a type of goal where I asked you, your mom would have to die in the next 3 months, and you had to make $100,000 to save her. Could you do it? Of course, if you love your mom, you would find a way. And that's what the system does to Sung Jin-Woo. I'm gonna ask you a question that's related to the question I asked prior. Who do you think you would become if you knew how to make $100,000 in 3 months? That's what happened with Sung Jin-Woo. Instead of those dollars, he could improve physically, mentally, get power-ups. In short, he changed. And what's particularly fascinating is that Jin-Woo's mental transformation happens alongside his physical one. Early in the scenes, we see him hesitate, doubt himself, and accept scraps from other hunters just to survive. But as he grows stronger, we see something amazing, not arrogance, but quiet confidence. And that's the kind of confidence that comes from knowing exactly who you are and what you're capable of. But here's where solo leveling becomes special. It shows us that real change is not about personal gain. As JinWoo grows stronger, his perspective shifts from survival to protection. The same person who once could not protect himself becomes somebody capable of killing all the ice elves by himself. And it's a beautiful irony that the former world's weakest hunter becomes someone who carries the weight of a whole dungeon group. However, this transformation came with its own price. With each level gained, with each boss defeated, JinWoo had to sacrifice pieces of his old self. We all have excuses, and for JinWoo, the comfortable excuse of being weak, the ability to blend into the background, that simple life, all of it had to go, because you see that he's getting recognized more and more. And real change demands sacrifice, and solo leveling doesn't shy away from showing us just how steep that price can be. So before you do anything in your life, are you sure you want to change it? Because our lives as normal human beings, the system is made in a way where once you start changing, you can't really stop changing. As the years go by, the echelons change, even from middle class to lower class to high class, from middle school, high school to something else. It always changes, and that's why self-improvement became so boring quickly. And this brings me to saying that JinWoo's journey is so impactful because it's not just a power fantasy, it's that we see every step, every struggle, every moment of doubt and triumph along the way. We see him fail, we see him get back up, push forward. In a world obsessed with overnight success stories, solo leveling shows us what real change looks like. A daily commitment to being better than you were yesterday. But this is unrealistic in real life because sometimes we find ourselves in our own personal dungeons facing monsters that wear the face of our own doubts and inadequacies, and we don't have that system to guide us. But you can remind yourself something important every single time you fail. You have the power to change within you. You just have to decide that you want to do it now. That power is about deciding to face yourself honestly, but this will only work if you do the necessary work to become who you want to be. Because at the end of the day, the most impressive thing about JinWoo isn't that he became an S-rank hunter, it's that he never stopped being the person who remembered what it feels like to be the weakest. And maybe that's what real change is all about. Not just becoming stronger, but becoming someone who uses that strength to make a difference. So with that, if you wouldn't mind, subscribe to the channel and have a nice day.